The wind blew softly through the tall trees, carrying the scent of rain and old leaves. Two small figures walked slowly along a narrow path that twisted through the forest. They were twins, Ravi and Mira, no older than 12. Their shoes were torn, their clothes muddy, and their faces pale from cold. For days they had been walking, far away from the town that no longer wanted them. Ravi walked in front, holding a broken map in his hand. He was quiet and serious, his dark eyes focused on the path ahead. Mira followed behind, her small backpack bouncing as she walked. She was tired, but she tried not to show it. She looked around, staring at the tall trees that seemed endless. "Ravi," she whispered softly, "are we lost?" Ravi didn't answer at first. He looked at the map again, then at the sky. The clouds were heavy and gray, and soon rain would fall. "No," he finally said. "We just need to keep moving. There must be a place to stay before dark." They had been alone for many days. The people in their town had turned against them after a strange fire destroyed their home. No one believed their story. They said the twins brought bad luck. They said strange things happened wherever they went. The twins had begged to stay, but no one wanted them. So they left, alone, frightened and hurt. As they walked deeper into the woods, the sound of the world grew quiet. Only the soft whisper of leaves and the faraway call of birds could be heard. The air became colder, and fog began to rise from the ground. Mira hugged herself. "Ravi, I'm cold." Ravi stopped and looked around. "We'll find shelter soon. Don't give up now." They continued for another hour until Mira's tired eyes caught sight of something through the mist. A dark shape stood between the trees. "Look," she said, pointing ahead. Ravi followed her gaze. There, hidden behind a wall of vines and moss, stood an old wooden cabin. Its windows were dark and its roof leaned to one side. The walls were covered with green moss and half the door was broken. But to the twins it looked like a miracle. Ravi approached carefully. "It looks empty," he said. "Maybe someone lived here long ago," Mira whispered. They stepped closer. The air around the cabin felt strange, quiet but alive. The trees seemed to lean away from it as if giving it space. Ravi pushed the door gently. It creaked open, revealing a dark room filled with dust and shadows. They entered slowly. Inside, everything was old and forgotten. A table lay on its side, chairs were broken, and a thick layer of dust covered the floor. There was a fireplace in one corner, cold and filled with ashes. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like silver threads. Mira coughed softly. "No one's been here for a long time." "Good," Ravi said. "Then it's ours now." They began to explore the cabin. There was a small kitchen, a tiny bedroom, and a trapdoor in the corner of the floor. The trapdoor caught Ravi's attention, but when he tried to open it, it didn't move. It was locked tightly. "We'll look at that later," he said. "For now, let's clean this place a little." The twins spent the next hour sweeping dust, moving broken wood, and lighting a small fire in the old fireplace. Soon the cabin filled with warm light and the smell of burning wood. Mira smiled for the first time in days. "It's not so bad here," she said, sitting by the fire. "I like it." Ravi smiled faintly. "Yes, at least we're safe for tonight." They shared a piece of dry bread from Mira's bag and drank the last of their water. Outside, the rain finally began to fall. It hit the roof softly, creating a rhythm that sounded like a quiet song. Mira leaned against her brother. "Ravi, do you think anyone will find us here?" Ravi shook his head. "No one ever comes this far into the forest. We're alone." There was silence for a while, broken only by the crackling fire. But as the flames danced, Mira noticed something strange. A faint blue light flickered under the floor near the trapdoor. It pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. "Ravi," she whispered, pointing to it. "Look." Ravi frowned and crawled closer. The light glowed brighter for a second and then faded.
He touched the wooden floor. It was warm. "That's strange," he said.
"Maybe something is under there. Do you think it's dangerous?" Mira asked nervously. "I don't know," Ravi said. "It could be just some old machine." They decided not to open it that night. The rain was heavy now and the wind howled outside. The firelight danced on the walls, and the blue glow under the floor flickered once more before disappearing completely. As they lay down on the floor using their bags as pillows, Mira whispered, "Ravi, maybe this cabin found us." "Not the other way around." Ravi smiled tiredly. "You always say strange things." But deep inside, he felt the same. The cabin felt different. It wasn't just wood and stone. It felt like it was watching them. In the middle of the night, Mira woke up suddenly. The fire had died down and the room was dark. She heard something, soft clicks like gears turning slowly. Then a faint mechanical whisper came from under the floor. She sat up, her heart beating fast. "Ravi?" she whispered. Ravi stirred but didn't wake. Mira listened carefully. The whisper grew clearer, almost like words spoken through static. "Online, system, rebooting." She froze. The voice was cold but weak, like an echo from a faraway place. The blue light returned, brighter this time, shining through the cracks in the wooden floor. The air in the cabin grew warmer, and the sound of electricity buzzed softly. Mira crawled closer, her small hand reaching toward the light. She could feel a gentle vibration like a sleeping heart beginning to wake. Then suddenly the light vanished. Silence filled the cabin again. Mira lay back beside Ravi, confused and scared. But something deep inside told her that whatever was under the cabin wasn't evil. It was waiting for something or someone. When morning came, the rain had stopped. Sunlight broke through the clouds, falling through the cabin's dusty window. Ravi woke first and saw Mira sleeping beside him. He felt calm for the first time in weeks. He stood by the window, looking out at the quiet forest. The trees glowed softly in the morning light, and birds began to sing again. The world looked peaceful. Mira opened her eyes and smiled. "Good morning," Ravi turned to her. "Good morning. We should look for food today. There might be a river nearby." She nodded, then glanced at the floor. "Do you think that light will come back?" Ravi hesitated. "Maybe. We'll find out later. First, let's survive." They stepped outside, the damp air cool against their faces. The forest seemed endless but calm. Neither of them noticed that deep under the floor, tiny lights flickered again, and a small panel slowly powered up. Inside the dark chamber beneath the cabin, an old voice whispered once more, weak but growing stronger. "System awakening." Human presence detected. The cabin story had just begun. The morning sun filtered through the tall trees, warming the damp forest floor. Ravi and Mira stepped out of the old cabin, their small feet crunching on the fallen leaves. Birds chirped, and a soft breeze carried the scent of wet earth. For the first time in days, the twins felt safe. Ravi glanced back at the cabin. "We'll explore around today. Maybe we can find food and fresh water." Mira nodded. Her curiosity, stronger than her fear, pulled her toward the trees. She remembered the strange blue light under the floor from last night. She wanted to know what it was. "Do you think that light will still be there?" she asked. Ravi looked at her, a serious expression on his face. "I don't know. But we should focus on surviving first." They walked through the forest, collecting berries and mushrooms. Ravi found a small stream where the water was clear and cold. He showed Mira how to drink carefully and fill their bottles. Mira laughed when the cold water touched her lips. For a few hours, they forgot about the town that had abandoned them. When they returned to the cabin, the sun was high, and the wooden structure seemed less frightening. Dust motes floated in the sunlight that came through the broken windows. Mira ran her fingers along the old floorboards and said, "I think we should check under the trapdoor." Ravi hesitated. "I'm not sure it's safe. What if there's something dangerous?" Mira looked at him with her determined eyes. "We have to know, Ravi. Something is alive under there." "I can feel it," Ravi sighed but nodded. "Okay, but we do it carefully." They pushed aside the old rug covering the trapdoor. Ravi tried to lift it, but it was heavy and stuck. They worked together, pushing and pulling until the wooden door creaked open. A cold mechanical hum came from below. The twins froze. Mira took a deep breath. "Hello?" she whispered. At first, there was no answer. Then a soft, metallic voice said, "System. Online, human presence detected." Ravi and Mira jumped back. The voice was not frightening, but it was strange. It sounded old and weak, almost like it had been asleep for a long time. "Do you hear that, Ravi?" Mira whispered. "Yes," he replied. "We should see what it is carefully." They climbed down a small ladder into the underground chamber. Dust floated in the air and the soft hum grew louder. The room was filled with old machines, panels with blinking lights, wires coiled like snakes, and a large console in the center. Mira's eyes widened. "It's amazing," she said. "It's like a secret world under the cabin." Ravi looked around cautiously. "Stay close. We don't know what any of this does." The central console flickered and a holographic screen appeared, shaky but readable. The metallic voice spoke again. "Welcome. Human life forms. Cabin system. Online. Survival assistance. Available," Mira gasped. "It's talking to us." "Yes," Ravi said. And it calls itself a system. The voice continued, explaining in slow, broken words that this cabin had been built long ago by humans to study and protect nature, and to observe strange signals from the sky. The twins listened carefully. "What kind of signals?" Mira asked. The AI, as the voice called itself, replied, "Unknown life forms, watchers of Earth, monitoring humanity." "Experiment incomplete," Ravi frowned. "Watchers of Earth? What does that mean?" The AI didn't answer directly. Instead, it displayed old images on the holographic screen. Humans living in cities, people planting trees, machines in laboratories, and finally, humans exploring the stars. The twins realized this cabin was part of a much larger plan than they had ever imagined. Mira reached out to touch one of the blinking panels. The screen flickered and showed instructions. Learn survival. Restore system. Human growth. Hope detection. "What does that mean?" Mira asked. "It means," Ravi said slowly, "that this cabin wants to help us survive, and maybe help humans too." The AI began to give simple instructions: how to filter water, grow food, and repair old machinery. It even suggested ways to trap small animals safely for food, though Ravi and Mira had no intention of hurting anything unnecessarily. The cabin wanted to teach them survival, not to harm. Excited, Mira and Ravi set to work. They followed the AI's instructions carefully. The cabin had an old broken water purifier. Ravi fixed the broken pipes while Mira cleaned the machine. Soon clean water flowed into a small basin. Mira took a sip and smiled. "It works," she said. Ravi nodded. "This place is incredible. It's not just a cabin, it's alive in a way." As the day passed, the twins continued exploring the underground chamber. They found small drawers filled with old tools and notebooks with strange symbols and drawings of stars. The AI explained that these were research notes from humans long ago who had wanted to connect with life beyond Earth. Mira stared at the notebooks. "Do you think aliens really watch us?" she asked. Ravi shook his head. "I don't know. But if they do, they're not here to hurt us. At least I hope not." The AI spoke again. "Unknown life forms. Observations continue. Humans must show unity and courage." The twins felt a chill. Something outside the cabin, or perhaps far above the Earth, was watching. But it didn't feel dangerous, only curious. That night, they lit the fire again and the cabin glowed warmly. But the AI's voice continued softly, repeating phrases and instructions. Mira listened, fascinated. "It's like it wants us to learn everything," she said. "Yes," Ravi said. "And I think it trusts us." Mira hugged her knees. "Ravi, do you think anyone else will come here?" Ravi shook his head. "No, this is our place now. We're safe, at least for now, but deep inside, they both felt the same. The cabin had a secret, and one day it would show them something more." As they lay down, the metallic hum from the chamber below became steady, almost like a heartbeat. The AI was awakening fully, growing stronger as it analyzed the twins' presence. Strange lights flickered under the trap door, dancing like tiny stars trapped in the wood. Mira whispered into the quiet room. "Do you think it's alive?" Ravi looked at her. "Maybe, not like us. But it's alive in its own way, and I think it will protect us." Outside, the forest was quiet. Rain had returned, dripping from leaves and falling in tiny puddles around the cabin. But inside, warmth, light, and a strange sense of safety filled the old cabin. Suddenly, a soft beep echoed from one of the consoles. The AI's voice spoke again. "Human presence. Verified survival guidance. Online connection possible," Mira smiled. "It's like a friend," she said. Ravi nodded slowly. "Yes, and maybe it's more than that. Maybe it can teach us everything we need to survive and be strong." The twins went to sleep that night, the fire crackling softly and the blue lights under the trapdoor pulsing like a slow heartbeat. For the first time in weeks, they felt calm. They were no longer abandoned. The cabin, strange and mysterious as it was, had become their home. And deep under the wooden floor, the AI continued to awaken fully, analyzing, learning, and preparing for something bigger, something the twins could not yet understand. The forest outside remained quiet, but the hidden heart of the cabin was alive, ready to reveal secrets that had been forgotten for decades. For Ravi and Mira, this was only the beginning of an adventure they never could have imagined. The twins, abandoned by everyone, had found a place where they belonged, at least for now. The old cabin had found its new guardians. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the forest, spilling golden light over the old cabin. Ravi and Mira woke early, their bodies rested but their minds buzzing with curiosity. They had spent the previous day exploring the underground chamber and learning from the cabin AI, which had grown stronger overnight. The machines hummed softly and small lights blinked across the walls like stars in a tiny universe. "Do you think the cabin can teach us everything?" Mira asked as she stirred the fire. Ravi shook his head, tying his shoelaces. "I don't know, but it's already taught us a lot. We have clean water, food, and even a place to rest. That's more than we had before." Mira nodded, but her eyes kept drifting toward the trapdoor. Something beneath it was stirring again. The soft blue glow pulsed slowly, almost like it had a heartbeat. After breakfast, they climbed down into the chamber once more. The air was warmer now, filled with the gentle hum of circuits and faint electrical sparks. The AI greeted them. "Good morning, humans." Survival guidance continues. "Observation systems active," Mira smiled. "It sounds happier today." Ravi frowned slightly. "Do you think machines can feel happiness?" Mira shrugged. "Maybe not like us, but it's trying to help." That counts for something. The twins worked together to organize the tools and clean the dusty machines. As Mira carefully brushed layers of dust from a panel, a small screen flickered to life. Lines of light moved across it, forming shapes that seemed almost like patterns of stars. The AI's voice spoke again, but this time there was a hint of urgency. "Unknown life forms detected. Watching Earth. Human behavior analyzed. Hope required." Ravi's eyes widened. "What does that mean?" The AI paused, then continued slowly. "They observe silently. Humans judged by actions. Kindness, courage. Must be proven." Mira's small hand brushed her hair nervously. "Do you think aliens are really watching us?" Ravi swallowed hard. "It sounds strange. But maybe. The cabin wouldn't say it if it wasn't important." For the next hour, the twins listened carefully. The AI showed them small star maps and strange diagrams explaining that long ago, humans had attempted to connect with life beyond Earth. Most attempts had failed, and the watchers had remained hidden, silently observing. Mira leaned closer to a blinking screen. "Ravi, look. That light, it moves when I touch the screen." Ravi walked over. "Be careful." The cabin said some things are delicate, but Mira's curiosity could not be stopped. She tapped the screen again, and suddenly a holographic image of a distant star system appeared, filled with bright suns and swirling planets. Tiny, colorful lights blinked across the display like stars moving in slow patterns. "They're beautiful," Mira whispered. Ravi studied the image. "It's like someone is showing us the universe." The AI's voice spoke softly. "Observation continues. Humans must show adaptability, courage, cooperation." Mira's eyes lit up. "Do you think we can do it?" Ravi smiled faintly. "We've survived this far, haven't we?" Hours passed as the twins experimented with the AI's systems. They discovered a small console labeled Signal Receiver. When Mira touched it, a series of strange patterns appeared on the screen, moving in rhythmic pulses. The patterns almost seemed like a conversation. "Ravi, it's communicating with someone or something," she whispered. Ravi frowned. "Maybe the Watchers are trying to contact us, or the cabin is sending signals to them." The twins worked together to understand the patterns. The AI guided them, teaching them slowly how to respond. With every tap and adjustment, they could feel the cabin growing stronger, as if the energy of the machines fed on their cooperation. As evening approached, the forest outside turned deep green and golden as the sun set behind the trees. The cabin glowed warmly, a sharp contrast to the darkening woods. But strange things began to happen. Shadows moved where there should have been none, and the blue light under the trapdoor began to flicker in a rapid rhythm. Mira shivered. "Ravi, do you feel that?" Ravi nodded. "Yes, something is happening." The AI's voice grew firmer. "Observers close. Humans tested. Readiness required." Suddenly the cabin shuddered slightly. Tiny sparks flew from the consoles and one panel flickered, showing a hologram of glowing eyes looking down on Earth. The twins stepped back in surprise. "Ravi, what is that?" Mira whispered, clutching her brother's arm. Ravi shook his head. "I don't know, but they're watching us," the AI explained slowly. The observers have existed for centuries. They assess humanity. They wait for proof that humans are worthy. Humans capable of courage and compassion. Mira's eyes widened. Do you think we're the proof? Maybe, Ravi said quietly. Maybe the cabin brought us here for a reason. Night fell and the forest became quiet again. The twins lit a small fire, but their attention kept returning to the underground chamber. The AI continued teaching them, showing them how to repair old machines, generate power, and even grow small plants indoors. Mira found a small notebook with diagrams of stars and lines of code. She studied it carefully. Ravi, the cabin knew humans might be alone. It prepared for this. For us, Ravi nodded, it's more than just survival. It's a mission. The twins began to feel a connection not only to the cabin but also to the watchers above. It was as if someone somewhere in the universe was paying attention to their small acts of courage, their care for each other, and their survival spirit. Mira hugged her knees, staring at the flickering firelight. Ravi, do you think they'll come down from the sky? Ravi smiled softly. I don't know, but I think they just need to watch us, see that humans can be kind and brave. Hours later, as the twins slept, the cabin systems worked quietly. The blue lights under the trapdoor pulsed gently, now synchronized with the twins' breathing. The AI monitored everything, their movements, their care for each other, and even their smiles when they discovered new things. Outside, in the silent sky, faint glimmers of light appeared between the stars. Tiny, fast-moving points of energy that no human had ever noticed before. The watchers observed silently, analyzing, waiting, and recording. In their dreams, Mira and Ravi saw visions of the sky, filled with bright stars and shapes that seemed alive. They saw themselves walking in space, surrounded by colors they could not name. And they saw eyes watching them, but not in fear, only in curiosity. When morning came, the twins awoke with a sense of purpose. The forest was quiet, the cabin warm, and the AI's hum steady. Ravi, last night, I saw the stars. I think they're real, Mira said, her eyes wide. Ravi nodded. Yes. And I think we are part of something bigger than we imagined. Something important. They climbed back into the underground chamber, ready to continue learning. The AI greeted them with its calm, metallic voice. Observation continues. Human progress. Connection with unknown. Testing continues. Mira smiled. We can do this. We're together. Ravi put his hand on hers. And whatever is out there, watching us, it will see we are strong. We're not alone anymore. Outside, the forest whispered in the wind. The cabin's lights glowed softly. And far above, beyond the clouds and stars, the watchers continued to observe, silently recording every moment of the twins' courage, kindness, and cooperation. The old cabin, hidden deep in the woods, was no longer just a shelter. It was a place of learning, protection, and discovery. The twins, abandoned by everyone, had found a home and a mission that would shape not only their lives but the future of humanity itself. And in the quiet pulse of the blue lights, the cabin prepared for the next step. The watchers from above had noticed humanity's smallest champions, and their eyes, though distant, focused now on Ravi and Mira. The adventure had only just begun. The morning air was crisp and cool as Ravi and Mira stepped out of the cabin. The forest was quiet, the leaves glistening with dew, and sunlight broke gently through the tall trees. The twins felt more confident than ever. Days spent learning from the cabin AI had given them new skills. They could purify water, grow small plants, repair old machines, and even read some of the alien symbols on the consoles. Ravi, Mira said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I think the watchers are close. I can feel it. Ravi looked around the forest, then at the cabin. Yes. Something is happening. But we have to be careful. The cabin is teaching us, but we don't know what will happen next. They went down into the underground chamber. The air smelled faintly of electricity, warm and alive. Panels blinked, with small lights, and the AI's hum was steady, almost welcoming. Good morning, humans, the metallic voice said. Observation continues. Unknown life forms, monitoring Earth, human courage, kindness, required. Mira smiled. It's like it is proud of us. Ravi frowned thoughtfully. It isn't proud. It's recording, watching, preparing for something. The twins walked past rows of old machines until they reached a panel they hadn't explored before. It had been covered with dust, as if it had been forgotten for decades. The AI spoke softly, warning, restricted access. Humans may proceed with caution. Mira's eyes shone with curiosity. Ravi, we have to see it. Ravi hesitated, then nodded. Yes, but carefully. They brushed away the dust and pressed a button. A small compartment opened with a soft click. Inside was a metallic device shaped like a cube, with strange markings on all sides. The cube emitted a faint blue glow, like the lights under the trapdoor. What is it? Mira whispered. The AI spoke slowly. Ancient artifact, human creation, intended to record, assess, transmit, proof of humanity's worth. Ravi carefully lifted the cube. It felt warm in his hands, vibrating softly. He turned to Mira. I think this is what the cabin was waiting to show us. Mira nodded. But who is it for? The Watchers? Yes, the AI replied. The unknown life forms, silent observers, have judged humans before. Their decision depends on evidence, proof that humans are capable of kindness, courage, and unity. Mira stared at the cube, fascinated. Do you think we are the proof? Maybe, Ravi said quietly. The cabin brought us here. It trusts us. Maybe because we are the last chance for hope. Outside, the wind rustled the trees. A sudden hum filled the air, faint at first, then louder. The twins ran to the window. In the clearing near the cabin, a metallic drone hovered above the ground. Its surface reflected the sunlight and tiny lights blinked in patterns. Ravi's heart pounded. It's one of them. The Watchers. Mira held his hand. It's not attacking. Look at the lights. They're not weapons. The drone projected a holographic image into the air. It was a world they had never seen. Planets surrounded by glowing rings, cities with towers that reached into the clouds, and strange creatures moving gracefully across the land. Then the image shifted, showing Earth. The twins' town, forests, oceans, and deserts appeared in glowing blue lines. Mira gasped. It's showing us Earth. And humans. The AI's voice spoke urgently. The observers. Send warning. Humanity evaluated. Future dependent. Proof required. Kindness. Courage. Ravi watched the hologram carefully. The drone showed humans fighting. Humans caring for each other. Humans destroying and rebuilding. Then it focused on the twins themselves. Tiny figures moved across the map, representing their actions, gathering food, helping each other, exploring, learning. It's recording us, Ravi said softly. Everything we do, everything we've done. Mira's eyes sparkled. Then we have to do everything right. Show them. We can be good. We can be brave. The drone's lights blinked faster, scanning the cabin. A small panel on the console flickered, showing data streams flowing toward the sky. The AI explained. Transmission in progress. Data of human courage, kindness, unity, being sent, analysis ongoing. Suddenly the sky darkened. A storm began to form above the forest. Lightning flashed in the distance and strong winds bent the trees. The twins ran to secure the cabin, holding on to each other as rain began to pour. The drone remained hovering silently. Its lights flickered unaffected by the storm. The AI's voice was calm but firm. The storm is natural. Environment tests. Humans must endure. Proof continues. Ravi grabbed a blanket and covered the cube. We can't let it get wet. Mira nodded. It's fragile, just like us. Maybe. The storm raged through the forest, shaking the cabin. Water leaked through the old roof and the wind howled like a living creature. But inside, the twins worked together, following the AI's instructions. They reinforced the door, covered the floorboards, and kept the fire burning. As the night deepened, the drone projected a new image, a timeline of Earth's future. It showed cities rising, oceans changing, and humans working together. But it also showed destruction, war, and loss. A voice, soft and mechanical, echoed through the cabin. Humanity's future, uncertain, proof of hope, required. Evidence must be seen. Mira's small hand shook as she looked at Ravi. We can do it. We have to. Yes, Ravi said firmly. We're the only ones who can show them. We've survived. We've cared for each other. That's proof enough. The twins sat by the fire, watching the drone's holograms flicker across the walls. The storm outside continued, but the cabin remained warm, safe, and alive. The cube vibrated softly, recording every movement, every word, every small act of courage from the twins. Hours passed. The storm began to fade, leaving the forest damp and sparkling in moonlight. The drone hovered a few meters above the cabin before slowly rising into the sky. Its lights blinked one last time, sending the recorded data into space. The AI spoke softly. Transmission complete, data sent, unknown life forms, assessment ongoing, humans observed, hope recorded. Mira smiled, exhausted but happy. We did it, Ravi. We survived, and we showed them we can be good. Ravi nodded. Yes, but this is just the beginning. The Watchers will return, and the cabin. It has more secrets to show us. They crawled into their small makeshift beds, the fire's warmth surrounding them. Outside, the forest was calm, and the stars shone through the gaps in the clouds. For the first time since they had been abandoned, the twins felt important, not because anyone in the town cared, but because somewhere in the universe, their actions mattered. Under the trapdoor, the cube pulsed softly, recording and transmitting. The AI systems hummed steadily, monitoring the twins, the forest, and the skies above. Something ancient, forgotten, and powerful was awakening, and the twins were at the center of it. Mira whispered into the quiet cabin. Do you think they'll like us? Ravi smiled, brushing a lock of hair from her forehead. I think they already do. They've been watching us, waiting for someone like us. And we didn't give up. We never will. The night passed quietly, the storm gone, leaving a clear sky filled with stars. But deep under the cabin, the AI continued its work, preparing for the next step. The twins had survived the first test, but the truth under the cabin had only begun to unfold. And far above, the Watchers remained silent, their eyes on Earth, their attention focused on two small humans who had the courage, kindness, and unity to show that humanity was not lost. For Ravi and Mira, the old cabin was no longer just a shelter. It was a gateway to discovery, a place of hope, and the beginning of a story that would reach far beyond the forest, far beyond Earth itself. The adventure was far from over. The morning sun rose slowly, painting the forest in gold and green. Ravi and Mira stepped outside the cabin, feeling a strange mixture of excitement and worry. The storm from the previous night had left the forest wet and sparkling, but the air felt heavier, as if something important was about to happen. Ravi, Mira said, her voice soft. I think today is different. I can feel it in the air. Ravi nodded, looking around the clearing. Yes, the Watchers must have seen everything we did, but I think they're ready to show themselves now. The cabin behind them seemed to hum softly, almost as if it were alive. The blue lights under the trapdoor pulsed faintly, and the AI's voice echoed through the underground chamber. Observation. Complete humans' actions recorded. Proof of hope. Humanity evaluated. Mira ran her fingers through her hair. Do you think they will come down from the sky? Ravi shook his head. I don't think they come like we imagine. They might show themselves in ways we don't understand. But whatever happens, we need to stay calm. The twins spent the morning tending to the cabin. They repaired small leaks, strengthened the windows, and made sure the fire burned steadily. They prepared food in the small kitchen, shared water, and arranged their simple belongings neatly. Everything they did was small, ordinary, but the AI recorded every action, analyzing their care for each other and their courage. By afternoon, a strange calm settled over the forest. The birds were silent, and even the wind seemed to pause. Then in the clearing near the cabin, a soft glow appeared. At first it was faint, a shimmer among the trees. Slowly the light grew brighter and warmer. Ravi and Mira stepped closer, holding hands. They could feel a gentle energy in the air, not frightening but powerful. The AI spoke in a calm, almost reverent tone. Unknown life forms. Observers. Presence confirmed. Readiness required. Humans assessed. Suddenly, the light coalesced into shapes, small at first, then larger. The twins could see forms, not solid, but like reflections of energy in the air. They pulsed with soft colors, blues, greens, and golds, shifting as if they were alive. Mira gasped. Ravi, they're beautiful. Yes, Ravi said, his voice quiet. And they're not angry, they're watching. The AI guided them. Do not fear. Show courage. Show unity. Show kindness. Demonstrate humanity. The twins looked at each other. Mira smiled nervously. We can do that. We've done it before. Ravi nodded. Together. Step by step they walked toward the glowing forms. Every movement was careful yet confident. They bowed their heads slightly, acknowledging the unknown beings in the clearing. The lights shifted, swirling around them, reacting to their calm and brave gestures. The AI spoke again, its voice filled with quiet pride. Observation complete. Evidence recorded. Humanity's potential recognized. Suddenly, the blue cube from the underground chamber lifted gently into the air. It pulsed brightly, sending beams of light toward the watchers. The twins realized the cube had been a messenger, carrying the record of their actions. Every moment of care, courage, and teamwork was transmitted in those pulses of light. Mira reached out to touch the cube as it hovered between them. A warm sensation spread through her fingers like a soft current of energy. Ravi touched it too, and together they felt the connection. Their actions, their hearts, their hope being shared across space. The glowing watchers shifted slowly, their forms changing, becoming more structured, almost as if they were forming a message. A soft hum filled the forest, and in that hum the twins could hear a wordless communication, a feeling of understanding, approval, and trust. Ravi whispered, They understand. They know we're not bad. We care. We can change things, Mira smiled, tears in her eyes. We've done it. We're the proof. Then a sudden pulse of light shot into the sky from the cube, disappearing into the stars. The watchers' forms shimmered one last time, then dissolved into tiny points of light, returning to the sky where they had come from. The forest was quiet once more, filled with a peaceful energy that felt like hope itself. The AI spoke one final time. Humanity, worthy. Evidence of courage and compassion. Observers satisfied. Continuation possible. Ravi and Mira stood silently, taking in the moment. They had survived storms, learned new skills, and faced unknown powers. But more importantly, they had shown humanity's best qualities, courage, kindness, and unity, even when the world had abandoned them. Mira hugged her brother tightly. Ravi, we really did it. We really showed them who humans can be. Ravi hugged her back. Yes, and we did it together. That's what matters. The forest seemed to glow softly in response, sunlight filtering through the trees as if celebrating their success. The old cabin hummed quietly, alive and warm. No longer just a shelter, but a witness to something far greater. For days after, the twins continued their routine. They cleaned, repaired, and explored, but now every action carried new meaning. They were no longer just surviving. They were preparing, learning, and understanding that humanity had value beyond what anyone in their town had ever seen. One evening, as the sun set behind the trees, the AI spoke once more. Transmission received. Observers satisfied. Human presence. Hope demonstrated. Cabin mission complete. Guardians chosen. Continue growth. Mira looked at Ravi, her eyes shining with wonder. Guardians? That means us? Ravi nodded, smiling softly. Yes, we're the guardians now. The cabin, the watchers. They chose us because we never gave up, because we cared, and because we stayed together. Mira hugged her knees, thinking of their journey, from the day they were abandoned and hated, to the moment the stars themselves had witnessed their courage. Ravi, do you think humanity will change? Ravi looked out at the forest, the soft glow of the cabin behind them. I think it already has. In a small way, at least. We showed them hope exists, even in the smallest humans. Night fell, and the stars shone brightly above. Far away, the watchers continued to move silently across the sky, their assessment complete, but their focus would remain on Earth, knowing that two small humans, abandoned and alone, had proven the best of humanity. In the quiet cabin, the twins slept peacefully. The AI's systems hummed gently, its work done but always ready. The cube lay safely in the chamber below, a symbol of humanity's courage and compassion. The forest outside was calm, filled with the soft sounds of night, rustling leaves, distant calls of animals, and the whisper of wind through the trees. The cabin glowed softly, a beacon of hope in a vast, wild world. Mira stirred in her sleep and whispered softly, "Ravi, we made a difference." Ravi, asleep beside her, smiled in his dreams. "Yes, we did. And together we always will." The night passed quietly, but the story of Ravi and Mira had reached far beyond the forest, far beyond Earth, into the distant eyes of beings who had watched silently for centuries. Their courage, kindness, and unity had been seen and recorded. Humanity's worth had been proven, not through power, but through simple, honest acts of survival, care, and love. The cabin, the watchers, and the AI had all played a part, but it was the twins themselves who had carried the light of hope into the unknown, and that light would never fade. As dawn broke over the forest, the twins stood outside holding hands, looking at the soft golden light filtering through the trees. The forest, the cabin, and the sky seemed to celebrate with them. Somewhere in the stars, watchers smiled silently, knowing that humanity was worthy, and for Ravi and Mira, the journey that began in abandonment had ended in triumph, proving that even the smallest humans could make a difference in the vast universe.